Book of the Dead becoming God in ancient Egypt. Production and use. How a Book of the Dead manuscript was produced. Writing support. Unquestionably, the Book of the Dead is not only the most common of all funerary spell corpuses, but also the best attested kind of non-administrative Egyptian document in general. In terms of text witnesses, it outnumbers any other text composition by far. While most Egyptian literary works, such as wisdom texts or tales, have been preserved only in a limited number of copies, the Book of the Dead is attested on hundreds of papyri and mummy wrappings, as well as on the walls of tombs and temples, ostraca, sli, and even on wooden tablets. Due to its numerous attestations and long history, which extend over more than 1400 years, no other text or spell corpus seems so well suited for examining scribal habits and their development. On close examination, many copies of the Book of the Dead grant us intriguing insights into the methods of their production. Writing support. Papyrus was the most common writing material for Book of the Dead exemplars, followed by linen. The papyrus roll consisted of numerous joined single sheets, and was normally inscribed only on one side, preferably on the so-called recto with horizontal papyrus fibers. The height of papyrus rolls ranges from about 22 ca. 40 centimeters. The length depended on the individually chosen number of spells. Only exceptionally, a Book of the Dead copy was distributed over more than one papyrus roll or written on different sorts of media such as a papyrus and a leather roll. The Book of the Dead of Unspecified was written on at least 3, probably 4, separate papyrus rolls. For Book of the Dead mummy wrappings, scribes usually chose a relatively fine linen. In the early New Kingdom, such exemplars were written on large shrouds, whereas in the late and Ptolemaic periods long and mostly rather narrow mummy bandages were preferred. Generally, the last mentioned strips of linen were not woven in this format, but torn from large sheets. Sometimes the deceased was provided with 2 separate Book of the Dead copies, one on papyrus and one on linen wrappings. A few spells prescribed that a new papyrus should be used as writing ground for Book of the Dead texts. In practice, however, this was not always observed. Though papyrus might not have been as exorbitantly expensive as often is assumed, the Book of the Dead copyist sporadically reused discarded administrative papyrus rolls for their work. Either the original text on the recto was washed off, or the Book of the Dead was written on the back or verso side. Even Book of the Dead papyri were recycled. If the intended owner did not purchase the copy for some reason, his name was erased or painted over and substituted with that of another person.